Now to the woman who wanted to be president, who was raising money, bail money, for thugs arrested during the BLM riots. Well, Kamala Harris was in Australia to speak to a conference of real estate agents.
The Gold Coast highway shut for a motorcade of unmistakable authority. 9 unmarked SUVs, police motorbikes and a full US Secret Service detail.
Look at all the cars. Wow.
Unbelievable. Oh, it's just next level.
State and federal police patrolling the perimeter of presidential-style protection and entrance for the headline speaker.
Ms. Kamala Harris.
Presidential-style protection, why? What do you make of Kamala's visit down under? She's certainly regaled the land rats with her keen insights, with word salads and rambling segues. Is this her future, Kosha, the speaking circuit?
I think so. I'm afraid so. And that's just the era we live in, that once you're part of the club, president, vice president, or a candidate, even a failed one, you only fail upwards. She just signed with CAA, the preeminent talent agency in the world, in February. Her speaking fee is a rumoured $200,000 to $300,000 USD.
She's uniquely bad at speaking.
I know, and that's
what I find incredible.
So absurd. And maybe that's why she came all the way to the other end of the world here in Australia, which has put Australia this week on the map, and probably not in the way we would like, because people are paying real money, hard-earned money, to go to this conference and listen to her, among others. But it feels to me like it's her training ground. Go as far away, do general leadership speaking at a real estate conference at the other end of the world, and then she's working her way back up to whatever her plan is.
Oh, it would have thought it was a little bit beneath the dignity of the office of a former vice president to be at a real estate conference on the Gold Coast. And for our American friends, what would that be like? It's not exactly Vegas. It would be
something like that.
Atlantic City, kind of that kind of vibe.
That's probably better.
And the real estate agents apparently paid between $900 and $1,700 for this 2-day extravaganza, a bunch of different speakers, Kamala obviously being one of them. But if that is her future, I'm going to wonder who's going to give even $200,000 or $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, all those figures have been rumoured, to hear her speak, because it's not her strength.
No, it's not. Uniquely bad at that she is, as you say. And I think the staying power of the speaking fees will be interesting to see. This industry, though, it's a little bit cloak and dagger. You sign with CAA, they book you whether you're a good speaker or not. You charge your fees for a period of time and it can work. Whereas if she were to ever venture into something where you have to stand on your own 2 feet, like a podcast, we're seeing Michelle Obama struggling with that. That's where I think it might be more difficult.
Oh my gosh. I do pray for a Kamala podcast, because the amount of material it would give me for this program would be overwhelming. Please, Kamala, consider a podcast. Now, meanwhile, POTUS, President of the United States, was at Arlington National Cemetery today in honour of Memorial Day.
Every child that lives in peace, every home that is filled with joy and love, every day the Republic stands is only possible because of those who did what had to be done when duty called, and the cost was everything to them and to their families. Our debt to them is eternal, and it does not diminish with time. It only grows.
Kosha, it was a strong speech, and despite the usual suspects in the media treating the Trump presidency like it's a perpetual crisis, the military, the men and women of the armed forces, have been boosted by the Trump administration. You only have to look at the recruitment numbers to see evidence of that. They're having a huge surge in the number of people who are joining after a long period of having trouble attracting recruits.
Absolutely. That is the ultimate metric. In a voluntary system where you don't have a draft, how many people actually want to sign up to represent their country, and what are they motivated by? And recruitment was a huge challenge. On top of that, they also had attrition because of the vaccine mandates. A lot of people left. So some of the best and brightest were gone, and new people weren't signing up. And that has been like a 180 turnaround. Obviously, Vance and Pete Hegseth have had their controversies, and people in the media are out to get them, but they are aspirational figures. You look at that image of the two of them sitting behind Trump. 2 years ago, that would have been Kamala Harris and Lloyd Austin sitting behind Biden.
Quite an upgrade.
It is.
Quite an upgrade.
Certainly, if you're a young recruit, this is quite inspirational.
Absolutely. Now, before you go, there has been a further development since Donald Trump called out the anti-white racism, anti-white violence in South Africa. Let's hear from Julius Malema, a parliamentarian and the founder and leader of the economic freedom fighters.
I will never be intimidated by America. I will never be intimidated by Donald Trump. They were speaking about me in that meeting at White House. If they were not gossiping about me, they should have called me into that meeting. I would have answered everything that Donald Trump wanted from us.
Unapologetic, not backing down, and he again led chants of kill the boer, kill the farmer. I think Donald Trump, if nothing else, has succeeded in shining a light on this very important issue that other world leaders have ignored. And we saw during the horrors of apartheid, just about every world leader take a stand, whether there were sanctions, whether they were speaking out. But this is been ignored up until now.
And Trump really is the master at shaping narratives and using the bully pulpit to force the media to focus on whatever the issue of the day is. He's not missing a beat. Malema over here, he continues to say many, many vile things. He will not be invited to the White House. I think that's a little bit above his pay grade.
Yes.
But he is certainly making hay from that meeting and is not backing down. So the more he does that, hopefully that, coupled with Trump's strategy, does get more global media and world leaders paying attention to it. But it just seems very difficult for most of them to take the kind of stand that they did when the racists were in reverse.
Well, it was very interesting because obviously he's never going to be part of the South African team visiting, but the South Africans did take along a couple of golfers to try to, I don't know, appeal to Donald Trump's love of golf, and he would certainly know who those players were, they're elite players. But one of them then told a story about how his family's involved in farming and they've been impacted by this violence. They've had to deal with people trying to burn down their farm and go after them. So as much of the media has tried to paint this as some sort of a right-wing conspiracy, the evidence there is overwhelming. That
was quite remarkable. Like on one level, I kind of felt bad for the South African president because he came with the strategy, brought the golf legends, and then the meeting took a different turn. But the fact that one of them validated that point, that's interesting. Actually, I didn't know if the president of South Africa knew that was going to happen, or because that kind of gave a crack.
Well, I don't think he knew he was going to have a TV screen rolled in and a 6-minute tape of anti-white violence played for him. So yeah, he next time a world leader goes into the Oval Office,
be prepared.
I'm sure they will be prepared, or else. Kosha Gada, thank you so much for your time tonight.